In this section, we're going to expose about the APU. In couple words, auxiliary power unit. The auxiliary power unit supplies electrical and pneumatic power to other airplane systems. This allows these airplane systems to operate without the use of ground power sources or the engines. The APU can also supply electrical and pneumatic power in the air as auxiliary source. Before started, we must do a test of the APU fire protection system and also do a test of the APU fire extinguisher system. To understand the APU system and its operation during the ignition and start system, we find some components as the ignition unit, start power unit, start converter unit, electronic control unit, and starter generator. They are important components that make smart the system when the APU is going to be started. On the other hand, we find some sources that the APU uses during the ignition and start system. They are 24 to 20 volt DC battery, 24 to 28 volt DC switched head battery bus, 115 volts AC standby bus, and finally 115 volts AC transfer bus 1. The start sequence starts when the APU switch is put to the start position and released to the on position. The ECU turns on the oil pressure light on the P5 panel when the ECU receives the start signal. The low oil pressure light goes out at 30 to 40 psi oil pressure. The ECU opens the APU fuel shutoff valve and air inlet door. The inlet door switch sends a door open signal to the ECU when the air inlet door is open. At 0% speed and before the start system is energized, the ECU energizes the ignition unit. If the air inlet door is open and the APU speed is less than 7%, the ECU sends a start signal to the SCU. The APU speed is more than 7%, the ECU waits until the speed is less than 7%. If 115 volts AC is available on transfer bus 1, the SCU sends a start signal to the AC to DC converter in the SPU. The AC to DC converter gives 270 volts DC power to the SCU. If 115 volts AC is not available on transfer bus 1, the SCU sends a start signal to the DC to DC converter in the SPU. The DC to DC converter gives 270 volts DC to the SCU. The SCU also has a control function to prevent the DC to DC converter from depleting the battery below limits. What are the limits? 8 volts DC on ground, 20 volts DC in air. During a DC start attempt, the proximity switch electronics unit, which is the PSEU, provides the air and ground input. The DC to AC converter in the SCU changes the 270 volts DC power from the SPU into three-phase start power. This power goes to the start generator. The starter generator turns the APU turbine shaft. The SCU receives starter generator rotor position from the starter generator resolver. The SCU uses the signal to synchronize the three-phase start power to the starter generator rotor position. At 7% speed, the ECU energizes the fuel solenoid, which supplies fuel for combustion. At approximately 30% speed, oil pressure goes above 30 to 40 psi. The oil pressure switch removes the low oil pressure signal. The ECU turns off the low oil pressure light. At 60% speed, the ECU de-energizes the ignition unit At 70% speed, the ECU removed the start signal from the SCU. The SCU removed the start signal from the SPU, AC to DC, and DC to DC converters. This de-energizes the start generator. At 95% speed plus 2 seconds, the ECU gives the ready to low. Couple words, RTL, signal to other airplane systems. This signals the airplane system that the APU is ready to accept pneumatic and electrical loads. In addition, after putting the APU switch to on position, the EGT indicator shows a reason from 0 to 6 or 0 to 8 depending on the temperature's condition in the turbine, and then decrease slowly until the APU starts running. When the APU is ready to give electrical and pneumatic power, the APU generator lights illuminate to alert the crew that electrical power is available now. You put them in on position and we could check the APU's voltage and the frequency in the panel P5 turbine. All the process lasts 60 seconds or a value approached to the main one. The APU has some altitude operational limits. The generator can supply 90 kWh electrical power up to 32,000 feet and 66 kWh to 41,000 feet. Electrical and pneumatic power are available at the same time up to 10,000 feet, and only pneumatic power is available up to 17,000 feet. The APU can be stored at 41,000 feet or below. The APU is an interesting topic. Also, it is an extended topic to expose everything in just one video. As I always emphasize, we're trying just to specify in the basic functions and electrical operation in the aircraft. Guys, I hope you have gotten all the information given here. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page. See you next time, guys. Let's go to the next video.